What's up, y'all? Good morning. Happy Saturday. Thank you guys for tuning in today for the Entertainment Plug radio show and podcast. I am so glad to actually be on with you guys. Of course, we normally start at 10 o'clock. So what time is it? It is 10:37. So I am super late getting started. I got a whole bunch of excuses in the can that I really could give you outside of the fact that I had some technical difficulties. But reality is I probably should have had that ironed out before 10 o'clock. So listen, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad that you guys are here with me. It's been a week since we have convened, so it's a whole lot of stuff going on. Obviously, you guys know that, we've been podcasting for quite some time, but the radio station just launched a little bit over a month ago. We are doing good. Our numbers are going up. Our listeners are going up. Our streams are going up, and I am so elated. I'm so happy. I'm so excited at just the possibilities of what is gonna happen, what is to come. But just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on the radio today, a lot of good music has been playing. We have gone through some Nicki Minaj, High School with Lil Wayne, Aaliyah with I Am Music. Well, actually, that is Timbaland featuring Aaliyah, I Am Music. Anthony Hamilton with I Tried, that came from the first album from Coming From Where I'm From. CeeLo and Melanie Fiona with Fool for You. And right now, Angela Winbush Angel is playing. So you guys know that you can download, you can listen to the station at any time. It is playing 24/7 on Apple Music. Most of us have Apple Music if we got iPhones. So you can just search UG Digital Radio in Apple Music. It will pull up probably under the playlist. But we are also streaming on TuneIn.com. So you can pull up the TuneIn app or you can go to TuneIn.com. We are on Odyssey, and I'm working to get us on Spotify. That should be coming in the next few weeks. So I'm trying to make it so that you guys can get us, pretty much any and everywhere that streaming is possible. So again, I appreciate you guys being here. Upcoming things for this coming week. Obviously, we have the show going on next Saturday as well. But if you guys tune in, and I'll have some more information going out on social media. You guys know where to get me on social media, but we will have some information going out. We will be doing a special live stream with the artist Major on Monday. So if you guys know who Major is, he's and I'm not gonna sing it, and I want to sing it so bad, but This Is Why I Love You is the big song that has been out there. So I feel like I could sing, but y'all might turn the show off if I start singing. So I'm not going to sing that. But listen, that is going on Monday. That is going to be at noon. I can't tell you the time. Obviously, it's going to be on YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. So you guys should be able to pull that up if you want to watch that stream. I'll be doing that with Cat Queen from Transcendent the Culture. So it's going to be under the Transcendent the Culture brand, which, of course, you guys see that logo in the background. But the Entertainment Plug logo is at the top as well. So all of that aside, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I'm a little pressed for time today. We do have a second guest who's going to be popping in by the name of Jestina. She's coming in the second hour. But right now, we have an amazing guest. I look at her as a veteran because she has been here for quite some time. And she got into this around the time that I really was getting into music. So I'm really elated to have her here on the show. She has worked with so many of my favorite artists. I know that many of these artists are your favorite artists too, because you're here. So I know that we listen to a lot of the same people, and a lot of us are just alike. So all that being said, I want you guys to give a warm welcome to our guest for today by the name of Gwen Yvette. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
I was trying to make that as quick as I could, so
yes, no worries.
Our conversation. But again, like I said in the very beginning, I just want to thank you because, this is all passion to be able to sit and talk to artists, celebrity or not, just to be able to talk to people about their dreams and their passions and their projects and the stuff that they love and what makes them tick. And this is all love. So I appreciate you. I'm grateful to you. And you are now UGD family. So we don't have you on everything all the time. So you might feel like we're stalking you, but it's all love.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me on. And
absolutely. So
as you talking about passion, I'm like, I love it. I can relate to so much of what you
yeah,
share. It's a beautiful thing. It's really all about that.
I just feel like, I mean, definitely that, but even just with the platforms in general, I
Hmm.
want to create like a safe space. And I
Yes.
say that because, and I get so analytical, so I try to calm it down a little bit. But when I look at media, like so
Hmm.
much has changed and like
Right.
drastically changed over
Right.
the years from like when I was, 10 and 11 and wanting to get into this kind of stuff
Hmm.
until now where I'm 47. It's like there was a time when, to me, and from my eyes, it looked like there was a time where people, they got into entertainment, whether that be acting or whether that be music, and they sat down with entertainment or they sat down with this venue or this press junket or whatever it was, and they were having a good time, having
Hmm.
fun, and it wasn't anything crazy. Whereas now, like everybody wants to be in your business. They want to know who
Right.
you're sleeping with. They want to know what happened, who was you fighting, and to
All
to, to me, it's too much.
too much.
Yeah, it's too much, and
That's a
then you
fact.
have a lot of celebrities who no longer feel safe with the media and they don't
Yeah.
trust. So then it makes it difficult, especially for independent media, when
Hmm.
you're out here and you're trying to get like the Gwen events, or you're trying to get the majors, or
Yeah.
like any of these artists. They're like truly vetting you now to see
Yeah.
like, well, what has this person done, and who did they do interviews of, and what venues did they do them for, and are they going to spin my words, and it just makes it so difficult. And then a lot of times the publicists, they don't necessarily give you the time of day if you're
Huh.
not, the ET Tonights or that type of thing, because
Right.
they don't really know what to get from it. So
Right.
I feel like with this, with the company and with all of the platforms that we do, we're really trying to break that cycle and kind of create that, recreate that safe space where they know that if they come and do something with us, like
It's
it's gonna be a
good.
good time, and
Yes.
nothing's gonna be twisted, and it's gonna come out just like they put it out there. So I think of like, I won't say like the Black Beats or anything like that, but when you think of like, to me, like the legendary magazines like Sister to Sister or
Hmm.
stuff, like everybody knew that if they talked to Jamie Foster Brown, like it was gonna
It
be
was what
legit.
it was.
It was
Right.
gonna be legit, and that's what we do.
Right. Right.
So, so that's what I'm doing here. But people like you really helped me to be
Thank
able
you.
to do that, because I can't do it. I mean, just as well as I can't do it without the viewers, I can't do it without you either.
Sure. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, I love it. I love it.
So,
I love it. I feel safe.
thank you very much. So, I would really love for you to kind of start off really just by letting everybody know who you are and kind of how you got here.
Sure. Well, I am from St. Helena Island, South Carolina. Again, Gwen Yvette. My name is Gwendolyn Yvette. And so I just made it Gwen Yvette for my artist name. And I'm from St. Helena Island, the small town on the coast of South Carolina. Um, I was born in New York, and then my parents decided they didn't want to raise their girls in the city. They wanted to bring us back to the South. And so we I came back home to my mom's home, Gullah Geechee country, Gullah Gullah Island. That's here.
Oh,
And
okay. Now, now,
yes,
the, now the thing is, I was making a joke in my head, and I was thinking Gullah Gullah Island, and
it
you
is
said that,
definitely
I'm like,
Gullah Gullah Island. Yes,
yeah,
Simeon's family is from here, and this is the Gullah Gullah Island they were talking about.
yeah,
And so, growing up here, I grew up here, and I couldn't really. It was really small area. Couldn't wait to get away when I grew up, so I could go to the city and be a big star. So I graduated high school and went to New Jersey with my cousin, so I could easily get to New York. And
that's a big jump.
that was a huge jump.
Yeah,
I met with probably 4 or 5 producers, and they basically gave me the same story, which was, you have a beautiful voice, but you don't have the look.
yeah,
And
no, that's
we're
good.
talking about 1990.
Hmm.
So the look was absolutely not what I had. I've always been a fluffy girl. And so after I heard that a few times, I just couldn't take it. I came back home 92 and started working, And then, my focus shift from music because I was kind of like already angry with the music industry. Like, how dare you not want to hear me for what I
It's
want to
very
share.
disheartening.
And
It's
and
very
and
disheartening for it to for
it
this
was
to be
heartbreaking.
something that you love and that you've long wanted to do, and then
My
okay,
whole life
yeah, yeah,
to that point. So it was like I came home and got to work and just put that dream way on the back burner.
yeah,
My focus then was to be a wife and a mother, and I became a wife. The mother part didn't quite unfold the way I wanted it to. Um, I was diagnosed with cancer at 28, so
mm, okay,
I ended up having a hysterectomy at 30, and so I never gave birth to a child.
okay,
So time just kept on getting on, and the next thing I know, I lost my dad in 2011, and then Whitney Houston died in February of 2012, and I was just like,
yeah,
oh no, I have to get busy with this music.
yeah,
And that was what like awakened me. I started immediately like with the TV competitions. I went to Sunday Best first. And that was a good experience, a beautiful experience, but I didn't get as far as like in the competition. And then went on to do The Voice. Same thing kind of happened there. And then I went to X Factor. And with X Factor, I at least got to do the celebrity judge round and, Kelly Rowland threatening to throw a shoe at me, all that kind of stuff. That was a beautiful experience. And, because my family was there. The only thing with that is I've never been able to see my video, and that part hurt. But still, it was a good experience.
yeah,
We went to California for the Hollywood round, and then once we got there, they said they weren't going to do any more competing, that they were going to choose from the videos, and I wasn't selected. So then I came back home like, okay, now what? And that's where I started to build a band, try to put musicians together, build a band, and we started to rehearse and build a repertoire
yeah.
and start to perform. And that's how we got started. And so I didn't even realize at that time that I was going to write songs. And I thought somebody else would write them and bring it to me and like, oh yeah, I like that one, or I don't like that one, and go with it. So I ended up writing my first song in 2015, releasing my first single in 2016. And so yeah, it's been crazy. When you talk about that passion and, resigning from your job, I did
Yeah.
that. I did that in 2015. I was working at a high school with
Okay.
the alternative program. That's another passion of mine as well, is working with that at-risk youth population of boys. And so I resigned from my position in 2015, and just to be fully immersed in my artistry. And I felt like it was like I didn't have, there was no plan B, there was no husband at that point. so it's just me and God, like, okay, God, I don't see how this is going to work, but
Yeah.
I trust you. And so I made that leap of faith, and it was tough. It was really tough.
Yeah.
Because I had to learn some lessons that I didn't necessarily want to learn. One
Absolutely.
was like to just sit still sometimes. I like to shop.
Struggle
I
with
like
that.
to be out in the stores. And yeah, if you don't have money rolling like that, like
Mhm.
with that steady paycheck,
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to learn to let some things go. And so it was a process. It was a real process. But look at God. Here we are.
Absolutely. Like, what was the well, I won't even say what was the easiest or hardest part, but what helped you to obviously adjust to the new lifestyle, of not having that traditional paycheck and all that stuff coming in? Like, what helped you to, kind of get through that period?
I would say humble beginnings.
Okay.
Um, because I'm from the South, and when we first moved down here, we moved into granddaddy's old house.
Okay.
There was no running water in Granddaddy's old house.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? You had to hit the pump outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and you the foot tub for the bathtub, that type of experience. So I think that that definitely played a role when it came to having to scale back. You know, it's like, okay, this scale back even isn't as bad as where we started.
Right.
So we can do this, you know? So I think that definitely played a big role, is coming from humble beginnings. So I was able to adjust and survive in that mode and not lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, because now you're back in South Carolina now, right?
Hmm.
Would you say at this point, like you enjoy being there now, or
Oh, I love it.
not?
I absolutely love it. It's, paradise.
Yeah, it's really interesting how, and I asked you that because I kind of was in that same spot of, like, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, so
Uh-huh.
obviously this is like city living, very inner city.
Yeah.
Um, and in 2017, my then wife and my son, we
Uh,
moved to Phoenix City, Alabama, which
okay.
is like,
I've been through Phoenix City.
yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
it's like the country. Like there's Piggly
Yes.
Wiggly, there's a Walmart,
Uh-huh.
there's a Zaxby's,
Right.
and that's it.
Okay.
Oh, and a Planet Fitness they were building when I was there. So
Okay.
it was like, this is it.
Yep.
And then, obviously, if you kind of wanted the city, you could go to Columbus, Georgia.
Hmm.
And obviously, Atlanta was like 45 minutes away.
Okay.
Um, I wanted to get down there, and I wanted to go down there. Now,
Uh-huh.
the reality is I actually would still go back down there. My
Okay.
son got down there and he hated it. He was like, this is no, this is not
Right.
it. We gotta go back home. So we ended up going back home.
Uh-huh.
Now he would actually go back down there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he would actually go back down there now.
Yeah.
It's weird how you cannot like something at one point, and then,
Uh-huh.
like, as you get older, you kind of start to appreciate it. You appreciate
Sure.
it a little bit more. What was it? I guess kind of about where you are now that, like, at this stage of your life, like, you can really appreciate it. And I know you mentioned paradise, and I mean, I would
Oh
think
yeah.
that too.
I mean, of course I can appreciate the scenery, the quietness and the slowness of it that I didn't value when I was younger is
Right.
priceless now. Um, the problem I have, I guess, at this point is that, so paradise has just been discovered by so many people.
Hmm.
Paradise is getting a little flooded. Um, so this is where it used to be mostly Gullah Geechee people.
Okay.
Um, it's the landscape is changing a little bit as far as like it's becoming a bit more diverse,
Hmm.
and I can deal with a little diversity, even though I would actually love for it to just be Gullah Geechee people. I can deal with the little diversity, but it's like not too much,
Yeah.
where it takes we have this one road in, one road out type system here. So, it's an actual island. And so with too many people discovering it, it's becoming too much. Like it takes too long to get in and out and that type of stuff. So they're
Yeah.
trying to, hopefully we can scale that back a little bit, or just at least stop it where it is and not
Mm.
have, paradise just overrun. But people, it's a beautiful place, and people want to be a part of that, want to experience that, um and I understand that part.
Yeah.
But
I,
at
I,
the same
I,
time, let's not kill the vibe of it,
yeah.
with just too
Yeah.
many people.
I think I would love being in an area like that. Like at this
Yeah.
point in my life now, I think I would love it.
Yeah, it's peaceful, it's serene. When I'm having days, rough days where it's just everything is just too much, I can just go and park and sit by the marsh and watch the tide come in,
Yeah.
and it just calms. Yeah.
Okay. So
Hmm.
let's get into your music. So, your early '90s. You were there in New York. You went to Jersey. Obviously New York. You kind of started getting involved in the music business. They kind of sent you packing. So you went home, kind of resorted to, I guess what they call quote unquote normal life.
Right.
All that stuff and all that's entailed in that. And then end up back in music, I would say 2013-ish, somewhere around in there.
Yep.
What took you back to music? And I think more importantly, what gave you that courage and that push to now just go ahead and pursue it head?
Well, like I said, and let me back up a little bit, because I did, when I came back home, I did want to, on getting back into regular life. I was working this job where I was a security guard, and I would sing all the time on the property. And somebody, one of my coworkers heard me singing and started telling me about a band that he was in. Come to find out, we close kin. We didn't even know each other because there was a good age gap. But he was the keyboard player, one of my cousins, Gerald Dennis, at that time. And he introduced me to the band that he played with, and I became a female vocalist in that band. And so that was my first experience in live performing. So fast forward a little bit. Like I said, after Whitney Houston died, I was just singing all those songs along with Whitney that I thought I had forgotten. And it brought me back. It took me back to how I used to feel singing along with her with the hairbrush in the mirror, wanting to be out there on stage and doing that. And so that lit that fire back in me. And that's where I got busy and like I said, about 2014, my first show, as a matter of fact, was in 2015, my first live show. I started to build a band and rehearse and perfect a show. We performed on July 11th, 2015. That was my first show. And then from there, I started to write, and I released my first single February 9th of 2016. So in Love, featuring Sakimbre. And so we've just been building and growing since that point. Of course, when I first started off, nobody knew me as an artist or entertainer. Right. And so it took a while to build. I did a lot of exposure gigs. And that's
going to kind of be I guess a part of my next question is, what was that like, number one, to be releasing your first single? And then how was it, really just not just developing as an artist and as a group or as a band, but really building that fan base, because it's so difficult in the very beginning.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is very difficult because, again, nobody knows who you are. And then there are a lot of people releasing music every day. And so for me to be able to write something at my dining room table and then put it out there and people received it, because my very first single, this would happen. I Googled myself a little while later, right? After my release, I Googled myself. I just like, let me see if anything coming up. And I was surprised. I was in playlist in the UK.
It's amazing how our music spread so quickly in the UK and overseas.
It blew my mind. It blew my mind. They started to, follow me, friend me and stuff on social media. And I heard my name being said in that British accent. It blew my mind. Yeah. So, that part with the UK especially came fairly easily once I started to release music. They just kind of grabbed hold to it. Yeah. Here, as far as like radio play, of course, I know it's very different than UK. Yeah. Here you're basically begging, like, please play my song.
Yeah,
and still not getting it played.
Absolutely. You know what I think is well, first and foremost, I want to acknowledge the viewers and the commenters who are actually popping in there at the bottom. I don't know if you saw some of the comments that were coming up, but actually Cat Queen is here, and the first question that she has is, do you have any advice for new artists feeling not so confident in what they're doing or scared to shine?
Do you like, don't try to do what you see other people do. Do what feels good for you as a person and as an artist. Um, everything is so what's the word? Sensationalized, where it's like, scandalous stuff seems to do better,
Uh-huh.
or ratchetness seems to go further. But for me, what I have done is stay true to myself and my artistry. I don't of course I want to entertain. I love to entertain, but I don't do foolishness, and that's
Absolutely.
because that's just me, you know what I mean? And so I wouldn't do foolishness just to advance my career.
Absolutely.
Slow and steady. It's been definitely slow up. It's been a slow process, but at the same time, it's still growing. I'm still
Uh,
growing, and people are still learning more and more about me. And so I have chosen to just take that road less traveled, to be authentic and stay authentic to myself, so that I don't ever have to worry about anything coming back to bite me, because what I put out is what's real for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, you mentioned Whitney Houston.
Hmm.
What type of impact did Whitney Houston have on you as an artist?
I love Whitney. Whitney was like my big sister. My favorite artist of all time is Aretha Franklin. Now, Queen of Soul is the queen, but I've always loved Whitney too. Whitney's like my sister. And like I said, I was singing all of those songs when she passed away. Everybody was playing her songs all day for a while.
Yeah.
And singing along, it stirred everything back up in me, that I could, when I looked at her on stage, I could like see myself out there, you
Yeah.
know? So
And I'm glad you mentioned obviously everybody playing her songs and everything, because I always hated, and I mean you saw it with Whitney Houston, you saw it with Michael Jackson, you kind of see it with a lot of artists who kind of have their struggles or they have different problems and whatnot, and they may
mhm,
pass away, and people are so mean to them when they're here, but then it's like once they're gone, it's like they start doing so
all
many
the
different
love.
tributes, and they're playing the music all the time,
Yeah.
and a lot of times it doesn't seem it seems disingenuous, but
Right.
I think with Whitney right now, it's still good to see like how she's still being celebrated, and they
Yeah.
have the concert film that just dropped maybe a month ago, and I
Okay.
know that's going to be playing somewhere else. I want to say December 1st. I just saw something.
I
Uh,
haven't seen that yet.
I just saw something maybe a couple days ago. Um, but either way, I think it's
Mhm.
cool, like how you're starting to see, a lot more praise of her and her career and just
Yeah.
the things that she did musically. Um,
Right.
so it's good to know the influence that she's had on you.
Oh, sure. I
Yeah,
mean, Whitney is iconic.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And um it just felt so personal. Her
Yeah,
her loss for me felt very personal.
yeah,
Um and the struggles that she had, that last little segment prior to her death, um that does definitely not define her, like,
yeah,
because I remember when she first came on the scene. And so it was very personal for me. I mean, I literally cried, like it
yeah.
was my
I-
sister for
you-
real.
it's amazing how celebrity and just people who we've never met a day in our lives, like how they can affect us in that way,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
something happens to them and like we literally cry like we know them and like they're family
Right. Right.
with me. And I can remember I was actually in Niagara Falls when it happened, and
Okay.
so I mean definitely Whitney. You have Aaliyah, uh, you have Luther, like
Hmm.
so many people, and these are
So
people who
many.
have affected so many people in
Yeah.
their lifetime. Michael Jackson, obviously, and
Yes.
people are in disbelief and like they're literally crying like it's their
uh,
blood, relatives.
yep, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Um, Cat Queen is also asking, where else do you get inspiration from?
Well, one of the things that inspires me is, of course, knowing that other people are looking at me for as an example or as a source of inspiration. That's one of the things that keeps me going, because sometimes things get rough, like things
Mhm.
rough sometimes, and you just want to lay it down. Like, I've gotten to the point a couple of times where I'm just like, I'm gonna just let this go. You know, I would just let this go. I'm gonna do something different. But I also, it always comes back to the why.
Yeah.
Always comes back to the why. And one of the things that I've known in my soul from the beginning is that this is bigger than me. It's
Mm.
definitely not just about me. I am the one that is pushing at the forefront of this, but there's so many things that are um, aligned to come out of it, that and understanding that definitely keeps me going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you, Cat Queen. Good question.
Listen, Cat Queen is in there. She said, I think we can all remember acting like Whitney as kids. My grandma used to say, "Okay, enough, Kay Houston."
For real.
um, let's see. I thought we had some more comments and questions.
And so you said something about having Major on this week, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing a live stream. He's got some things going on actually here in Cleveland. So,
Okay.
yeah, he's got some things going on here in Cleveland, and I was able to get in touch with his PR. So
Oh,
when he's here this week, we'll be able to do something or another with him. But we're definitely going to do a stream. Um,
okay.
so we'll be able to
I
talk
have
about
to make sure I
Cleveland.
catch that. I love Major.
Please.
I I opened for Major in 2019 in
Oh, that's
Charleston.
amazing.
I did, and he was so cool. He came. He not only watched my set, which doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
Um, he watched my set, and he was the first person to buy one of my CDs.
I was, I, love,
Yes,
I love the fact that he actually sat and watched your set.
he
Like,
watched my set. He was vibing while I was performing. And then he gave me a shout out when he was performing. He called my name while he was singing his song. And I was like, oh God, I love Major.
now,
Just real genuine.
because I think of like comedians, a lot of times when comedians come out, and then a lot of times the other comics, they won't sit and watch anybody else's set.
Right.
Usually, so that they're not, inadvertently copying jokes and stuff like that. So it's kind of
Okay.
cool when you see another artist kind of sit back and watch somebody else's show. Like,
Yeah, because a lot of times the opening artist, I'm out first. People, the legends are back in the dressing room.
uh-huh.
They're not out there to experience the show. I do remember Eric Nolan of the OJs. He came
Uh-huh.
out. He came
Really
out.
cool guy.
That he didn't get to see it because we had technical difficulties that night, and I didn't get to perform that night. But he came out to see my set,
Yeah,
and I thought that was really cool.
he's a
Yeah,
real cool guy. Like
yeah,
he's
that
really
was
really cool guy.
yeah.
Um, so kind of getting back to your music.
Hmm.
November 1st, you dropped a single, Mr. Two Step.
Yes.
Talk to us about Mr. Two Step.
So I was going to do a remake of Mr. Big Stuff,
Yeah.
and so the producer Sean Dolby sent me the track, and I'm getting ready to perfect my version of Mr. Big Stuff, and I get on social media one evening, and somebody's already dropped it.
Oh wow.
I want to say it's Cammy Cole. If it's, I hope I'm saying the right artist. I think it's Cammy Cole that dropped um Mr. Big Stuff.
Okay.
No,
And
it's
I don't know if I ever heard of her.
Lisa. Lisa.
Okay.
Either way, I heard it on social media, and so I'm like, oh man, oh well. Somebody beat me to it. It was a great idea. Somebody
Yeah.
beat me to it. And so I decided just to go ahead and use that and, segue into my own version of that, like, spin-off from that. And
Right.
that's for Mr. Two Step. Yeah.
What?
But that song, my mama loved that song when she would get mad with my daddy in the city. That was her go-to.
Yeah.
She told us the big stuff. Who do you think you are?
I think that this song and really a lot of your music, it kind of takes us back to that. I feel like it takes us back to what we're missing in music.
Well,
Uh,
thank
to
you.
me, there just was a time when the artists were having a good time, and I mean, you can even relate it to Mr. Big Stuff.
Yes.
Like they were singing their hearts out, and obviously living their passion and doing something that they love, and just having a good time. And
Yeah.
you don't see a lot of that anymore today. Like for a lot of people today, like it's a job, and more than anything, it's about how much money can I make doing it.
Right.
Listen, we all need money. We all got bills on top of bills on top of bills on top of bills, but
Mm-hmm.
you want to be able to do something that you kind of live for, and
Absolutely.
you have a good time doing it. And that's the feel that I get listening to this single, but just listening to your music in general.
Well, thank you.
That's really what I take from it. You mentioned social media, and you heard that song on social media, of the remake of Mr. Big Stuff. What
Mm-hmm.
role has social media played in, obviously you crafting your music and promoting it and marketing it to the world?
I mean, social media is huge. I feel like, that has everything to do with me being able to be an independent artist.
Yeah.
And actually have my music heard somewhere is through social media. Because when I was, back when I was going to the city, everything was about getting signed, at that
Yeah.
point in the music industry. And so the shift that happened between 90 and 13 when I came back out,
Yeah.
was definitely because of social media and having access to the different digital platforms to be able to make everything happen as an independent artist without having that record label behind you.
Mhm.
So it's huge.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh,
waiting for the right little what do you call it, little viral video, and we go.
yeah. Um, you had an album 2017, I think it was released.
Yes.
Um,
Love, Dreams, and Visions.
right. Talk about kind of your transition from that space of putting that material together to where you feel like you are now, and like a current project that you may be working on.
Okay. Well, Love, Dreams, and Visions to me was like everything that built up from to that point. Like I told you, I didn't expect to be writing. So having the opportunity to write for me was like, okay, let's get it all out. We've been waiting a long time for this,
Mhm.
or and so writing, I wrote most of it myself. I had a little help with one or two songs. I think Sakim Ray was on So in Love, and then I had Kayla Williams and Robert Howard write with me on Bigger and Walk and Hold Hands. And but for the most part, I did most of it myself, and that was everything. Like writing my first album. Are you serious? So that was everything, and I love that project. That when I finished it, when I finished writing, there were probably a couple of songs on there that or a couple of songs that started on there anyway that were not positive.
Okay.
And as it came down to putting the album together and what we're actually going to share, those were eliminated because I didn't want to put that. I needed to get it out, needed to get it out of here, but I didn't need to put it out into the world for other people. It was just a matter of me releasing it. And so the album came together with just Love, Dreams, and Visions, and that's it. And so that was a beautiful process. Now, since that time, I've written a few singles that were Love Dreams and Visions came out as like soul R&B neo soul.
Okay.
And then that wasn't intentional. That's just how it went. And then from there, a few of the songs that I've released have been jumping around a little bit. Like I think Free to Be was more popish.
Yeah.
And then Mood Swings may have been a little jazzy. So I've been kind of all over the place since then. But it's me doing what I'm feeling at that time.
I feel like the beauty of being an independent artist is that you kind of can do your own thing and figure out which direction you really want to go. With the project.
Doing what I'm feeling at that time. And that's how I ended up in the Southern Soul vibe right now, because that's what I'm feeling right now. But one of the best things an audience member said to me this past week, because I did a show last Saturday in my hometown. We have a big festival here, Heritage Days festivals. We have that festival every year in November. Penn Center, which is the first school for formerly enslaved African Americans. That school is here on Gullah Gullah Island, and so on St. Helena Island. And we have the Penn Heritage Days every November. So I did a show out there, and I only sang my songs. I usually do a lot of covers. People know me for singing Gladys and Aretha and stuff like that, because I do a lot of those type shows, tribute shows. However, I only did Gwen Yvette music that day. And somebody said to me after the show, Older Queen, she said, "Gwen, I love that. You finally found your sound."
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing. I thought that was amazing feedback. And I was like, yeah, I have, haven't I?
Now it's a good place to get to, because I think that, again, as an independent artist, it's easy for you to kind of be all over the place, because you don't necessarily have kind of those people in your ear saying, do this and do that, and this is which way you should go, or this is what
right,
and that sort of thing. It's kind of what you say goes. But it also gives you that freedom, though, to be able to be you, to be yourself and give what you feel like you want to give. And I think people are more successful that way. I think the money's better that way, because you're not splitting it 10 or 15 different ways. And like, to me, it's just all around better. Like, have you found that this experience now with you being out here as an independent artist that has been a lot easier than when you first tried, worked on getting into the industry?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I first tried, we talking about back in the 90s?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, because I couldn't get anywhere at that point. It was, I would get the meetings, and then that would be the end of it. Basically, and so being able to do this as an independent artist, and I've asked the question so many times, like, why didn't God allow me to do it back then? And what I've come up with is that I was so naive, so hungry and so naive, that I would have probably fallen for anything at that juncture, but at this stage of life, I'm more seasoned, I'm more experienced, I'm more secure in who I am as a woman, as a person. And so I'm able to just do what I authentically want to do.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the reason why.
No, I think that's amazing. So what does the, I guess, the near future look like for you now? Because Mr. Two Step is out there. What is there for us to look forward to from you over the next few months? And is there a full project coming now, or?
So that Mr. Two Step is out there stepping. He's getting heard.
I know,
which is really great. I saw one of the UK DJs say, I'm sorry, show not, he's not a DJ. He's a station manager, a program manager, and he said Gwen Yvette is back, and I was like, oh, okay.
But
So
that's cool, though.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So with I'm working on my music video for Mr. Two Step, and
Okay.
I use the event from last weekend as the backdrop for that. So I'm really getting ready to. We probably should have it ready by Monday.
Oh,
Um, just showing those scenes of our culture, the Gullah Geechee culture,
yeah.
and what that event is like. And so I'm really excited for that video to drop soon. And then I'm working on. Of course, I'm going to continue to release singles, at least Southern soul friendly R&B soul vibe, and I definitely plan to release a full project. And I think this one will be more of like, a culmination. It's going to pick up from where Love Dreams and Visions
Uh-huh.
left off, because the last cut on Love Dreams and Visions was just a little intro to deeper, and I kept saying, you got to go deeper, you got to go deeper, and so
That
that's where I'm
was-
gonna pick up from, going deeper.
yeah. No, I think that's really so. That was the cliffhanger of it. Yeah.
It really was, it really was. Yeah. I didn't know it would be like almost 10 years later, but yeah.
It's you gotta live some life, and you
Yes,
gotta live some life in between them. Like
absolutely.
I always find it, I'll say, even amazing, like how you have artists who every year they can put out an album, and it sells to, like, you gotta, to me, you have to live a little bit of life in between so that
Yeah,
you have something. And I feel like the more seasoned artists and the more soulful artists and the more like you, and even when you think in terms of R&B, you have like your D'Angelo's, and you have, like, I think it takes kind of that
sure.
big gap in between
Hmm.
to come back and then have
Yeah,
something as solid as the last project, because you've got to
right,
live.
right,
I
right.
think that's pretty cool. In terms of shows, like, will you be going around doing any shows, or do you even see yourself going to the UK, since you know that your music is gaining popularity and traction out there?
I am going to the UK in October
Okay,
of 2025.
okay.
We just started to have this conversation. Nigel Thomas and I just started to have this conversation last week. So we are going to definitely iron out all the details. And I'm going to the UK in October 2025. And,
That is
as far as shows in between now and then, so it's always been like this split of Gwen Yvette the artist versus Gwen Yvette the entertainer. Like with my band, Gwen Yvette and TC Soul, we do a lot of cover
okay.
music and not necessarily my music. So what I'm going to be doing more of now is um, fusing the two.
Yeah.
Where I have my band doing
Mhm.
my music, and we're gonna make it work like that. And
No,
so that shifts as far as the shows and the opportunities. But I've taken a hold to this quality over quantity, where at one point it was very important to just be all over the place, making sure people get to know me. At this point, I feel at least in my region, that people do know me well enough where I can scale back a bit and just focus more on the bigger events. Um, so I have a couple of I have an annual event that I do in this region, which is Queen, a tribute to greatness. And I have been doing it in March, which is Women's History Month, closing it out around that same weekend of Aretha Franklin's birthday. Um, but this year I have to push back a little bit because they've given my spot to Jonathan Green that weekend. So we're going to be in April, but it's a tribute show to Aretha, Gladys, Etta, and at the same time, we have women from our community that may never have been recognized publicly, but they have definitely upheld the village, and so we have those. We do awards at that event as well to queens in my area, and I I love it. They love it. So I look forward to doing that every year. I have this year Notes Music Festival in Beaufort, which is part of the Boys and Girls Club. That's their annual fundraiser event. So I kicked it off last year on the Sunday, and then this year I'm headlining. So that's it's a really big shift as far as what we're doing with the shows. So I'm looking forward to, of course, performing here wherever I'm booked, because I'm not just doing things for recognition, or not only for recognition anymore. Now we can attach a little bit of income to that. So I'm looking for
Absolutely,
those
absolutely.
bookings as well as what I have already, planned.
Absolutely. I think that's amazing. I was gonna say I need you to get to Cleveland, but I'm actually
Yeah.
I'm starting to travel a little bit now, so
Okay, KK.
I might just meet you somewhere. If I know you're
Okay.
going somewhere, I might just meet you somewhere. I'm starting to kind of build these relationships with with people now,
Uh-huh.
and I it's really been about relationship building the entire time that I've been building the company and that I've been doing media, but I'm really doing it now. So like there's even a comedian who comes to Cleveland a lot, Darren Fleet, and
Uh-huh.
now we've kind of started following him around. So if he's going
Oh,
somewhere and it's close enough that we can drive or whatever, a lot of times we'll go to shows in other areas now just to kind of keep up with him and show him that we're supporting and that sort of thing.
yeah.
So I will absolutely get in the car and drive and come. So you're part of South Carolina. Is how close is it to Myrtle Beach?
It's far from Myrtle Beach, about 4 hours from Myrtle Beach. It's closer to Savannah, Georgia. Savannah's only like 45
Oh,
minutes away. Yeah,
okay.
Charleston is
Teaching me my
an hour and
geography.
a half.
Okay.
Huh?
I said, look at you teaching me my geography. Okay.
Yes, yes. We're right on that southernmost tip of South
Okay.
Carolina. So Georgia's right there. And Savannah's closer than Charleston even.
In-
Charleston's like an hour and a half. Yeah.
in-
So either one of those, airports, Savannah,
yeah.
Charleston, you're right there.
Okay. Okay.
And Cleveland, when I look at my radio spins so far for Mr. Two Step,
Uh-huh.
Cleveland is the most popular city.
I'm trying to see what I'm saying.
Listen,
Well, it's really gonna be the most popular now because I got you added to UG Digital Radio, so it's
yes,
really gonna be the
I
most
love
popular.
it.
But I'm just out. I definitely want to see you live, but I think more than anything, I just want to say again, thank you so much for today and for the
You,
opportunity and for smiling and
thank
for
you.
being energetic. And like, I think this is really amazing. Like you and so many others like you are why I do this. So I
Yeah,
really, really appreciate it.
yes.
Um, how can people keep up with you? Social media, website, that sort of thing.
Social media on Facebook is Gwen Yvette. On Instagram and TikTok is Gwen Yvette Solstice. And then my website is gwenyvette.com. Wherever you download and stream music, I'm there. You can find my music there. If you guys, you do your playlist, etc., add my music to your playlist that you already listen to, and
Mhm.
keep it moving like that. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I
This
agree.
is not the first time, so don't be telling people we stalking you. Like this is not the first time, or it's not the last time. That's what I mean.
Yes, yes, that's what you
This
meant.
is not
Yes,
the last
I love
time.
it.
I so appreciate you, and I'm really working on building like that network. A family that I want to consider it to be family, and for people to know that I'm genuinely supporting. Like
Yes.
it's not for a dollar, it's not for nothing, but
Okay.
just the love of music and entertainment.
Well, listen, you have the opportunity, and you hear of any opportunities for independent artists and to do something in Cleveland, you make sure and let me know because I'm
Oh,
waiting.
absolutely,
I haven't been to Cleveland yet, so
absolutely. Listen.
and this song, this is my first song where I've seen. It's only been out 2 weeks, and I'm seeing a lot of play in Cleveland for this
Because
one. So I'm
it's
like,
feel
oh,
good.
Cleveland.
It is feel good music. So like it's listen, we love that.
Thank
So
you, thank you.
we love that, and we will pack the show when you come. So
Yes, I love
I
it.
will absolutely keep you posted on anything going on. But thank you so much. Anything you want to lastly say to the audience before I let you go?
Listen, I just want to say, whenever I late bloomed in this thing, so if you have a gift that God gave you, everything that you need for the journey is there. It's really there. You just have to make that leap of faith. Take that leap of faith and trust. Don't let people tell you you're too fat, skinny, light, dark, any of that in order to make it happen. If you know God gave it to you, pursue. And I want to give a shout out to Tangi for making the connection. Tangi is she's amazing.
Listen,
She is amazing.
listen, we both are preaching to the choir because
Yes.
Tangi is absolutely amazing. Tangi is
Is.
absolutely amazing. So yeah, I can't even tell you on air, but this is she's absolutely amazing. And
Yeah.
you know, obviously she's behind you being on here, and she's behind
Yes.
so many others who have come on the platforms. So like
Awesome.
Angie knows that I probably owe her a kidney or something. So I'm super grateful to her. I'm super grateful to you for coming on. I look
Thank you.
forward to the opportunity of bringing you on again. You know,
Thank
maybe we bring you on Transcending the Culture. That's a podcast that we do on Wednesday evenings, and we actually come back for season 3 this coming Wednesday. So,
Okay. Okay.
so
Awesome.
yeah, we'll definitely get some things going. And Tangi is all she always has her eye on it. So
Yes. Yes.
so I know we will talk again, but thank you again, and you have an amazing afternoon.
Thank you. You do the same.
Thank you.
All right. Peace.
All right, y'all. It is 11:30. I'm actually we're gonna go ahead and actually end a little bit early today. My next guest was coming in, but they have not shown yet, and we have another show coming up at noon, and of course we started a little bit late too. So once again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. So much stuff going on with the radio station, with the podcast network. A lot of stuff happening. Once again, make sure that you guys download either Apple Music or tune in, or you can get Odyssey and you can listen to us. This plays in your cars, it plays on your Apple Play. You can listen to us. You can also get us on the web on the web at tunein.com and uzdigital.com. You can actually hit our website and the music is playing there. Make sure that you guys do that so that you can listen to the music that is streaming 24 hours a day. We do have some pre-programmed content that is going to start running this coming week. Right now, if you tune into the station, Chris Brown and Brandy with Do Better is running right now. So shout out to them. We just went through some Sierra, some Amarie, some Ashanti, Heavy D and the Boys, and Alicia Keys. It's a lot more there where that comes from. So make sure that you guys are tuned in. And we will be checking in with you guys again next week for the Entertainment Plug next Saturday. But make sure that you guys keep an eye out on social media this weekend because we are going to be streaming on Monday. Special stream at noon on Monday with Major. Has the major hit, This Is Why I Love You. So we are going to be streaming with him on Monday. So make sure that you guys keep a watch on social media so you can see where that stream is going to be at. I mean, of course, it's going to be on YouTube and Facebook, but we'll have all the links and everything up for you. And we'll get it across all the platforms so that you guys can see it and that you know where to click in. But this is going to be at noon Eastern Standard Time on Monday. Once again, I want to shout out Gwen, Yvette for coming here on the show. I think it was amazing. It's crazy. We both had some technical difficulties going on. So, you know, once we got that ironed out, everything went pretty good. But thank you to Tangi. And we are going to see you guys next Saturday.